Good day, guys. My name is Solani Baloyi of Solani on Wealth. Thank you so much for joining me today. Solani on Wealth is my YouTube channel wherein we upload all of these videos because there is a time limit on Instagram and Facebook. So please head over there. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Today, I would like for us to discuss risk profile or risk profiling. This came as a requirement of yours when I mentioned it in our last video, where I did mention in the two-part system that some investors might be 20 years old, invested as a 50-year-old, and who is going to be de-investing and going into retirement in the next 5 years or 10 or so. And so somebody wanted to know how that is a bad thing, and if in fact there are different profiles that are being looked at. Now, I think the biggest thing that we can say about that is that, yes, younger people ought to be more aggressive because they've got more time to recover should there be fluctuations in the investment given the business cycle. So let's get into risk profiling, shall we? Now, it's a process that a financial advisor undertakes to establish what kind of investor you are and to sort of establish your attitude to towards risk. Now, what we do to establish somebody's risk profile is we use a questionnaire. We call them risk profile questionnaires, wherein there are many questions that we ask you so that we can then come to a place where we are able to classify you as this type of investor. There are aggressive investors, there are conservative investors, and there are moderate investors. And then we've got subcategories sometimes where we can say somebody is moderately aggressive or somebody is moderately conservative. So it's we want to get to that place where we can match an investor to a particular fund. Now, the requirement for risk profile or the establishment of a risk profile is one of three requirements. So the first requirement is that a financial advisor should establish the financial situation of an investor. The financial advisor should establish the knowledge and experience level of an investor, how familiar they are with investment products. And then the last one is the establishment of a risk profile. Now, I just would like to come in here and just do a little bit of knowledge sharing so that you are then able to elevate those discussions with your financial advisors or deepen those conversations with your financial advisors. Now, many funds, and especially when we find ourselves at work, sometimes employee benefits consultants are not visiting as often as they should, and so a lot of investors will fall into the default risk profile. There is a default risk profile, especially when we're talking about retirement funds. There is a default one which they call the life stage. The life stage speaks to having younger people as aggressive as you grow older, getting moderate, and then as you are nearing retirement, getting conservative. Now, the thinking behind this life stage model is that when you are younger, you've got plenty of time to recover from business cycles, to recover from setbacks, to recover from the potential volatility that is inherent in investing. Now, when you are moderate, we're sort of starting to balance that out. And then when you are older, we are de-risking the portfolio. So that is sort of what I meant when I spoke about that. Now, risk profile depends on a few key things. And just off of the top of my mind, one key thing would be having a different objective for an investment. So what are the objectives for the investment, and how much of a time horizon you have until you need to then de-invest. So you can see already that as a 20-year-old and you're looking at retirement savings, you should go in very aggressive, because you've got all that time to recover. And by the time you start balancing out and de-investing, you have then made optimal returns, and so on and so forth. Now, there is danger in not being invested accordingly. Now, it is important that you pay attention to the discussion with the financial advisor or with the employee benefit consultant, because this is very important for your future. We should not be finding out that we don't about the investment performance at the point where we're wanting to withdraw from the two-pot system. This is something that you should have been part of. These are discussions that you should have been involved with. So now that is the life stage model. There are other models that are not by default. So for instance, you would go aggressive until you come back and change it. So as the years go by, you should always be interacting with your benefits at work, with your benefits that are investments in unit trusts, that are investments in even retirement annuities on a discretionary basis. Those things need to be visited on a periodic basis. Do not ignore the statements that will be coming from asset managers or administrators. Open those up. In fact, compare this year to last year, compared to the last 5 years, to really establish that you are taking advantage of the full offering and the possibilities that you have. Now, it takes me back to a discussion that we had about savings and investing. When we looked at savings, we said that we're looking at short-term savings. So for instance, you're saving for a holiday that you want to have same time next year, then you would be looking at savings where you are looking at potentially only beating inflation, and then you want to withdraw your money and you want to be sure that your capital was guaranteed to an extent. Then when we're looking at investing, we said that investing is putting your money to work for you. Just look at it this way. With investing, we need to be committed, for a period of 3 years and above. When you are employed, your employer potentially wants you to stick around for a period of 3 years or longer. Because obviously you are training up. So with the investment as well, you want to employ it for a long period of time. You want to be in a position to sort of recover should there be any setbacks in the investment. And now we call that fluctuation, we call that volatility. Now, if you have a good knowledge of the relationship between risk and return, you already know that more of a return, you need to take more of a risk. And now the time to recover is also another very, very important concept that you need to take into account. So the establishment of a risk profile is very, very important. I just want to say that you can have a different risk profile in the same portfolio of investments. So you don't have to have one risk profile. It can be based on how long you will be invested in. It can be based on how much of a capital guarantee you want to have. And so this is a robust discussion that you ought to be having with your financial advisor.